and updates. This documentary isn't targeting pimps nor hoes, but to inform you and your family on how you can save your loved ones. Because as Miss Brittany likes to say, everyone has a choice. Hi, Miss Brittany. How are you?
Hi, I'm finding you.
Good, good. I'm so proud of you for sharing your story today. This must be big for you.
It is. Thank you.
Yes, and I would like to jump right in. So, if you can tell us your experience with human trafficking.
Yeah, I was basically kind of like at the wrong place. I mean, wrong place, wrong time
Mm-hmm.
type of thing. I was actually I was just sitting outside on the stairs at a hotel,
Mm-hmm.
and a guy came and he said I looked at him
Mm-hmm.
and that I owed him money. I'm like, I didn't look at you. Look at you. Where? When? You know, I didn't even know what was going on.
Yeah.
I was on my phone trying to figure out how I was going to get home. And he dragged me to his room and was like, I owed him $300, and then I couldn't leave until I gave him the $300.
Mm. And how was you feeling in that moment?
I was scared. Actually, it was kind of like shocking because I really didn't believe it was happening. Like, I didn't believe that this was really real. Like, he's got to be kidding me, you know?
Right.
But he was serious,
He was serious.
and he was like, you owe me $300, and then you can't leave until I get it.
Mm. And so, after you gave him the $300, I suppose you made the $300. How did he have you do that?
I had to go sell myself. I had to go turn dates. It was him and another woman, his bottom bitch.
Okay.
And they basically pimped me together, trafficked me together. And I had to give them the $300, and then it turned to 10,000.
10,000. So at that moment, when once you get the 300,
Yeah, I
it's
wasn't going
10,000.
anywhere. I knew that
You
already.
felt like you wasn't going anywhere.
Yeah, I knew that.
So from then, were you? Because I heard you say that he grabbed you into a hotel room. Did you stay there
Yeah,
or
that's where we stayed. That's where the whole time I was trafficked, that's where I was.
the whole time?
Yeah. And there was other gorilla pimps. There was other, girls there. It was like a hotel for that, and I didn't know. I was in the wrong place,
At the wrong
wrong
time.
area, wrong time.
So tell us how did you catch dates and how were you being sold?
Tricks outside on the track, Fulton Industrial Boulevard. It's a track, like a major track in Atlanta, Georgia.
Mm-hmm.
It's called Fulton Industrial Boulevard. So I would have to go outside and catch the date.
And during that time, did you ever try to escape or seek help from any of these dates?
I thought about it, but I was too scared. You know what I mean? I already knew he would kill me or he would hurt me. And I'd rather just try to wait till I could get a way out than try
Right.
to run away and something happen to me and I don't make it out.
And so, what would happen? Like, I assume you were forced to hold your emotions, but how did you go
Oh no,
about
I
doing
still
that?
cried.
Yeah.
I still cried, and I just prayed most of the time. I prayed more than cried because it was like, what's the point of crying? You're not getting away from here. You're not going anywhere. You're never going home. So you might as
So
well
you
quit
never
crying.
thought you were
Cry
going
for
home.
what?
And so, being in that situation and never feeling like you're going home did you ever consider death was an option of getting out? Like, were you suicidal at that time?
No, I wasn't. I just had hope. A
Mm.
little bit of it, I guess I should say. I had a tad bit, but not much.
Tad bit hope, and how much? And how long? Do you remember about how long did he have you?
I'm not that good with timing, but it was a while. It
A
was a while.
while. And
It was a little
so,
while.
getting out
It was over for me.
was over for
I
you.
didn't really think that I was gonna get out. Like, no.
And so, when you did get out, how
I
that
mean, it
came
was a
about?
thought in my brain.
It's a thought
I'll
in your
say that it
brain.
was a thought in my brain, like maybe.
So he has you. He's holding on to you. He has help from this female. At this time, you owe all this money. You're afraid to seek help from anywhere else, and getting out is not doesn't seem
Not
like
an
an option
option.
for you at all. So when you did get that chance to get out, how did that go?
He thought that he could trust her, so he had her helping him with me, and he thought that like he could trust her to watch me finally. I guess after all that time,
Mhm.
so he left to go get some weed across town,
Mhm.
across Atlanta. Caught a
Mhm.
flat tire
Mm.
way on the other side of Atlanta. So she gave me the phone and was like, "You need to turn a date. You need to do something." He was like telling her, "Watch her. Don't let her go anywhere. I'll be right back. Watch her." And so she watched me, of course. So she gave me my phone and told me I need to get a date before he got back. Get prepared because when he came back, we were going outside. So I texted my aunt and told my aunt, like, I was at this location, I was kidnapped, and, like, send the police.
Mm.
And the girl was like, who are you texting? Who are you texting? Trying to figure it out. But at that point, I really didn't care what she was talking about anymore because the police was on their way.
Police were on their way.
So I told her, fuck her, so.
And I'm sure, like, when the police get there, it's just like, okay.
They got there fast. They got there in like 10 minutes, literally like 10, 15 minutes. And they were just like, hi, are you being held against your will? I'm like, yeah. And she's like, no, forget her. And she's calling him and was like, don't come back, we're caught.
Mm-hmm.
So he never came back.
He never came back. And you were in Atlanta when this happened?
Georgia.
Atlanta, Georgia. And where are you originally from?
Kansas.
Kansas. So what brought you to Atlanta?
I was a runaway.
Runaway. Okay. That's interesting. So how was Little Bree as a girl? Teenager? Like, what was child life for you?
I lived a spoiled child life. I didn't have a hard life. Like, I was a crybaby, spoiled, rotten. I never had to worry about anything from my grandparents. My great-grandparents raised me, so I pretty much had it my way. And they passed away.
And so when they passed away, is that when things turned left?
Yeah, that's when I started, like, selling drugs, being in the streets, wrong places that I shouldn't have been.
Wrong place that was in. And so did you ever, what about your parents, like your mother, father?
My dad was in jail for 10 years. He just got out recently.
Okay.
So he was always in and out of jail. But then they sentenced him to 10 years. So he was gone for a long period of time. My mom, she was young when she had me.
Okay.
So, but she was around.
She was around?
She was around. I was just used to my grandparents, my great-grandparents.
So at that point,
they wanted me.
They wanted you. So was going back home an option for you? Or
yeah, I could go back home. Meaning how?
Like, did you want to? So after losing your grandparents, was that even an option? Because
going back to my mom?
To go back to your mom? So
no, I didn't. It was an option, but not for me. I didn't want to. Why?
So at that point,
I was mourning my grandparents. That's what I knew, and that was just like my parents. Like, she played a part in my life. She's the reason I'm as independent as I am. She taught me a lot of things. I see a lot of different things in me. That's her. So I love her to death. But I didn't have that bond or that environment that I needed with her. So I wasn't used to that lifestyle. It just wasn't for me.
So going home was not an option.
No, she wasn't gonna spoil me. She wasn't gonna treat me like my grandparents did. Not meaning she didn't have love for me, but it was a different type of love they gave me.
So at that point, grandparents is
that's all. Mm-hmm.
Not going back home is not an option. So where did you decide to go at that point?
Oh, well, I had to go to her because I was a minor. You know what I'm saying? I didn't have a choice but to go to her, but I wasn't happy there, so I started running away there.
Okay.
She kind of sheltered me a little bit. She didn't really, I couldn't really go out and hang out with friends. I couldn't really I couldn't do nothing, you know what I'm saying? And no kid wants to feel like they can't do nothing that's going to cause you or push you to do other things because I'm not happy here. Who wants to sit in the house all day? I want to be free a little bit. I'm not asking to go do something I don't have no business, but I want to be free. So not being able to have no freedom at all, none, barely, makes you want to go do other things and run away, get away. What do I want to be here for? Right. And I was grieving. That was a lot of the reason I was grieving. And I didn't have the support with the grievance. It was just like, oh, your grandparents are gone. Oh,
And so it was just like.
Yeah, but to me, it was my parents are gone, so.
What do I need? What I'm looking for is not here. So when did you first experience love? Do you remember?
I had a first love like in 4th, 5th grade, but now that I'm older, that was not love. I don't know what that was.
Well, what about like a boyfriend experience love? When did you?
The guy that actually turned me out or whatever you want to call it, I guess. Pursued me or to prostitute for him.
Okay.
He was kind of my first love, at least I thought, but that wasn't that either.
So prior to being kidnapped, you had already been persuaded in some form or way to prostitute.
Yes.
How did that go? Because if he pursued you, how did he come
on? I was attracted to him. I liked the way he dressed, the way he smelled, his hair, everything about him. So he knew that, he kind of preyed on me a little bit.
Yeah.
But I was attracted to him, so he had that. And he was older, and I was in the streets.
Okay.
So I needed a man that was older that could take care of me or, guide me. I can have somewhere to go, car to drive. So he was all of those above, and he was cute, so I was into him. So he acted like he was going to be my man and my boyfriend, and we are going to do all these things together, but that was never his.
And And when did you
motive.
notice that it changed? When did it switch to prostitution?
He just told me. He told me like, this is what you're gonna do. I'm gonna groom you, basically, to be a hoe, and this is what you're gonna do.
So during that time and going on these dates, what were going on in your head? What were you thinking? How were you
I
feeling?
was just couldn't believe it was really happening. Like, what? This is really. I didn't even know how to properly have sex. I was
Yeah.
a kid, you know.
Mhm.
I didn't even properly know how to have sex yet. He had to teach me how to give oral. He had to teach me how to have sex. I didn't know how yet.
So he's teaching you. He's coming on as this Casanova, like your boyfriend, and now he has you into prostitution. And
Which he was his plan. He
which was
knew.
his plan. So at any point, did it ever get physical with him?
Yeah, he beat me up all the time. That was his way of keeping me. Was beating me up.
Was beating you up?
Yeah, because he knew I was gonna catch on. I wasn't dumb. You know, I was a runaway. I wanted to get away from home, but I wasn't dumb or stupid to where I didn't have a mind. You know, I
Right.
wasn't brainwashed to have nothing. You know, like I didn't know anything. So he knew I would get a hang of what he was doing. So
Mhm.
once he seen that I got the hang of it, that's when he started beating me
Started
up.
beating you.
I really feel like he was really insecure.
Yeah.
You know, it was crazy. You know, the way it was, how I was.
So you're young. You have this guy you're dating. He turns out to be a pimp. If that's
Yes,
what it
that's what he
was.
was.
And so you're out here. You're catching dates. Was there any other guidance that you had? Maybe in the street life. Like how was the street life for you?
Yeah, I met a lot of people
Mm.
in the streets. You
Anybody
know.
else that you used to run with and make money with while in
Yeah,
the streets?
yeah, I did.
Yeah.
hmm
And
I met a few people
you met a few people.
that looked out for me. You know, on the street to my dad.
Mhm.
My dad was a known individual, so a lot of people, you know, few people looked out for me. I'll never forget. Never tried to, you know, have sex with me or, you know, pimp me or do anything like that. They show love to me, so I was always okay. As far as that, I always kept some type of stability somewhere.
Got you. And so outside of being trafficking and doing prostitution, um, was there ever a time where you wanted to by choice go
Uh,
out and?
Once I got rescued from being kidnapped,
Mhm.
after that, yeah, because I felt like this is what I have to do. And then also, um, the first guy or whatever, I don't
Mhm.
know what to call him, but the first guy,
Mhm.
first pimp or whatever, he chased me down so much, and you know he beat me up every day,
Yeah.
chased me down. So I was running from him to get away. That's how I even got to Atlanta.
So
Like,
you're running from him, and that's how you got to Atlanta. And so at that time, did you try to reach out like before going to Atlanta to any family members to try to
no,
seek help? No.
I didn't really. No, actually, like my aunts and them, I reached out to people that I trusted in the streets that I was talking to. You know, I would tell them, but everybody knew it was nothing to reach out about because
Everybody
everybody
knew.
knew.
So
So I was only at that point. I was not even running away from home anymore. I was running to get away from him.
got you.
So as I'm running to get away from him, I finally slowly made my way away from him. So
And that's how you end up in Atlanta.
yeah, because I piggybacked a ride with somebody. They were going down there not to do any type of pimping or prostitution or anything
Right.
like that.
But to get
But
away.
yeah, so I just basically caught a ride to get away.
And so during this time before you make it to Atlanta, because I'm really curious about how did you get in the position that you were to even, well, you did say that you were persuaded by a pimp who came on as your boyfriend. And during that time, were there any other prostitutes or any other people that you ran the streets with or taught
Yeah,
you the game?
Spice.
Spice.
hmm
And so you
I
kind of
love
feel
her.
like Spice, she kind of looked out for you and
Yeah, she just, if I'm gonna do it, make sure you do it right.
make sure you do it right.
Because at this point, he already put me in the position to, so I'm in survival mode now.
Yeah.
And then, so now that I got to run away from you and get away from you, this is what I'm going to be doing because now I'm running state to state at this point because you're beating me up every time you see me. And you told me that every time you see me, you're going to beat me up. So, like, it was times I thought I was going to die. He beat me so hard. So it's like at this point now I'm running from you. So I don't have a choice but to hoe because how else I'm going to make money? And then I'm out of my comfort zone. I'm not even in Kansas anymore. I'm going everywhere.
You're going
I'm going to
everywhere.
Missouri. I'm going to Texas. I'm going everywhere just to get away. Anything to get away from him.
Anything to get away.
So she felt like she knew the situation because,
Right.
you know, she was the person I trusted and I loved during that time. So if I'm going to do it right. So she just taught me the knowledgeable way to be able to be the best hoe I can be if I got to do it, if that's what I'm going to do.
Be in the streets. That's good. But leaving one situation, running from this man who posed as someone who he was not.
It's like run after run.
Run after run, and now you're running and bringing it back to trafficking, right? And going through all this. How has that affect you as far as your love life now? Is it hard for you
No.
to trust or
Yeah.
date?
Yeah. Yeah.
And
I
how
don't even.
you don't.
No, it's hard. I don't really trust dudes. Anything they tell me, you know what I'm saying, is a lie. I don't really. It takes a long time for me to trust. Like barely, you know, bare minimum is what I'm giving you.
Right. And so how do you stay pure? How do you even be genuine after going through something like that?
Well, I was built off of love and loyalty. You know, my grandparents, they gave me that, so unconditionally. So since I was built off of that and, you know, I was raised on that, that never changed. I didn't let nobody rob me of that.
Never let nobody rob you of that, which is good. That's good. I'm proud of you, Brittany. I want to say that I'm very
Thank
proud
you.
of you. And so, but I do have some questions because you did say at one point you did choose to.
Mm-hmm.
And so during that time, would you work for yourself or would you
Well,
seek
I wanted to work for myself, but that's called being a renegade. So
renegade?
I didn't want to be beat up. I didn't want to be kidnapped again. I didn't want to be, like, you know, I never want to be in any type of situation like that. So I played the game right. So if I was going to do it, it was going to be with a pimp.
And
That was how I was taught.
And how did you choose? What did you look
Well,
for?
the proper way to choose, they say, is with buddies. So if you don't give a pimp a choosing fee, then you're not properly choosing.
Okay.
So if I didn't have no money, I wasn't choosing. I'm going to have to hoe until I get the right amount that this man is asking for to accept me in his stable.
And what type of man? And when you say stable, explain what a stable is.
It's the household. So
Okay.
that means wife-in-laws, multiple women,
Okay.
and the pimp.
Okay. Which multiple women, stable sisters.
Yeah.
Okay. And during that time with multiple women and choosing this pimp, who I'm sure he had to look good and everything.
Yeah,
right?
I had standards, definitely.
standards,
And
so
I
you-
felt like if I have to do this and risk my life and I have to give you my money, what are you going to do for me? So you have to come correct. If you're not going to come the way I need you to come, then there's no need.
So being in these stables with other women, how was there not any jealousy? Like how did you feel like going in?
There was a lot of jealousy, but I wouldn't, it was my way or the highway.
Okay.
So, and I felt like what one pimp won't do, the next will. So, me coming into your stable, I'm coming for a top position. If I'm not getting that, if I'm not getting that, then I'm not here.
And so the majority of times you will get top position.
Yeah, or it's not happening.
Which is considered his bottom. And so you being his bottom, how did you feel with other women in the stable getting time from him?
I didn't mind, long as they were paying, long as there was nothing going on that wasn't against the game. I didn't really mind. I was just there to make my way to get away. So.
Got you. And so I want to know, where are you residing now? Like,
I live in California.
what brings you to Cali? So how did you get to Cali?
I met a pimp, of course.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like I met a pimp after I had got rescued from being kidnapped. They took me to independent living in Kansas City, in Missouri. I wasn't accustomed to that lifestyle. You know, I had a curfew. I had to get on the bus to find a job, and I wasn't accustomed to that. For one, my grandparents spoiled me, gave me everything. All I had to do was cry, and I got it. So
independent living was a no for you.
not happening. So, and then finding a job, just being under these people, and just, I'm not sociable like that. Like, I talk, you know, but I'm not a sociable person to be in a setting like that. So it wasn't for me. And then the money, they were giving me an allowance. That wasn't enough. That's not what I was used to. So I didn't stay there.
Money coming in fast.
So I ran away from there.
So you ran away.
With a pimp.
With a pimp. And have you ever came across a pimp or a date that wanted you to stop?
Yeah, I have.
You have? And how was that?
He was a good man, actually. He wanted me to stop. He actually wanted me to. He felt like that I was too good to be doing what I was doing, and that I had too much game, in his words, that I should be a madam if I was going to do it. He didn't feel like I should be doing what I was doing. But I really didn't care at the time, because I didn't want to be in it at all. I just wanted to. At that point, it was survival mode, so it was like, whatever, this is what I'm doing.
Survival mode. And if that means prostitution, what other things were you doing to survive?
Selling drugs.
Selling
That's it.
drugs.
Never went past that.
Were you ever active, like as far as gang life or anything?
A
Or no?
little bit here and there.
A little bit of here and there, a little bit of this, a little bit of that.
I'm into it,
But yeah. And so
I grew past that.
grew past that. And so trafficking, did you ever get justice? How did that go?
Actually, I did. I just got justice in September.
September. How long did that take?
9 years.
And what was that experience like for you?
It was
to finally
terrible.
get justice? Why?
I hated everybody. I didn't trust nobody. I'm in this big old world by myself. I've been through all this trauma. I've been raped. I've been beaten with guns. I was whole kidnapped with something. You know what I mean? I was like in a whole situation with a dude that I didn't want to be with. You know what I'm saying? Didn't know this man, nothing about him. Just, so that was a lot to deal with every single day.
Yeah.
And then just put it in the back of my head to be able to keep moving.
To be able to keep moving and still have to do that, right?
And still keep my sanity,
And so
my self-love,
Your self-love, self-esteem, all that. And so what are you doing for yourself as far as like how do you find the strength? Like how do you stay headstrong?
Just pray and meditate. Oh my God.
Pray and meditate, and that's the key. So I'm excited because you have some really good things though coming about. Like
Yeah, I do.
Some updates. So
Yes, I do.
what do you have going on? What are you working on?
I'm working on a nonprofit organization for women that's been through human trafficking. I don't feel nobody should have to wait 9 years to get justice.
Right.
I don't feel like because someone else gets into a situation and something happens to them that everybody else finally gets justice because this person, I feel like each person, the ball shouldn't be dropped on anybody. Everybody should receive the justice if they don't want to do it, So there's people out there that do want to do it. I'm nothing against it, but the people that don't want to do it, why they can't get justice? Why we gotta wait why do I have to wait 9 years? I wasn't important.
Is he now with 9 years to get justice? Like, did they automatically believe you? How was your support system while getting justice?
Well, I think I didn't have a support system. I was in the streets still. Once they rescued me, they took me back to Kansas. I was in jail for a little while because I was a runaway, and then they took me to the independent living facility, and then that was that. I never support. No. I was my support.
You were your own support. And that's probably why you're as strong as you are today, right?
That's all I had. I mean, I had people I can go home to, but going through what I went through and, not having anybody and not having getting that love that I needed from at home, go home for what?